Ging Freecss, the man, the legend, the myth, the deadbeat dad. Truly a man of many epithets. He's been a pervading mystery ever since episode 1, and the driving force behind the story of Hunter x Hunter, as he is the main motivation behind Gon's decision to set out and become a hunter himself. However, 20 years and almost 400 chapters later, and we barely know anything about the guy. You know, beside the fact that he won't be winning any Father of the Year awards anytime soon. I have no real idea what either his Hatsu or Nen type are. Or don't we? We don't. But I have a theory that I believe has a lot of evidence to back it up, which is of course based on the in-universe principles established by Togashi himself. So, I postulate that the Ging is an enhancer. A bit anticlimactic, I know, but it is by far the best fit for all the evidence we have so far. Let me explain my rationale. First off, Gon is an enhancer. Through the Zoldyck family, we can see that there is a hereditary aspect to Nen. I very much doubt it's coincidence that all the Zoldyck children are either manipulators or transmuters, considering their mother Kikyo is a manipulator and their father Silva a transmuter. Now a counter-argument may be posed. Maybe there's no genetic factor at all. It's been established that one's Nen type is directly correlated to one's personality, at least to some extent. Therefore, one's Nen type has nothing to do with one's parents, but with the circumstances in which one's personality developed. To illustrate this point, a bit of fanfiction. Let's say one cold winter night, Palm Siberia and, things, why not, just so happen to find themselves stranded in an old motel with only a single room left. With only alcohol and each other to satiate their boredom, they stay up all night talking and drinking. One thing leads to another, and they find themselves waking up to a cocktail of regret and shame. Anyhow, a love child is born, and with things going full Ging Freecss on her, she has no choice but to give the baby up for adoption. Just go with it, okay? If the genetic potential does not indeed play a factor, then if this baby were to, for instance, be adopted by the Zoldicks, it would also turn out as either a transmuter or a manipulator. By the way, both Palm and Finks belong to the enhancement category. Now, why I believe this argument doesn't hold water is because of the fact that A. It has long since been known that genetics play a significant role in the formation of one's personality. The only thing that's up to debate is to what extent this is the case. And B. We can see that all of the Zoldyck transmuters in the family share a trait. Silver hair, those being Zeno, Silva and Killua, while the hair of all the other members, who are all manipulators, is jet black. This is good evidence for the fact that the genetics play a much bigger, or even the sole role, in one's Nen type, as opposed to upbringing. However, another counter-argument can be made. Maybe Gon takes his Nen type after his mother. After all, she's a completely unknown factor. Well, my rebuttals to that are the following. First, since we know absolutely nothing about her, we can't really speculate about her Nen type. However, we've established that Nen is to a degree based on one's personality, and Gon has multiple times been compared to Ging by other characters. Since they share such a similar personality, it adds to the theory that they might also share a Nen type. Second, we don't know if Gon even has a mother. Hear me out. There's an item on Greed Island called the Pregnancy Stone, which allows for anyone, regardless of sex, to become pregnant. It is a popular theory that Ging used this item to create Gon. It was shown in the series that Gon had been to Greed Island as a baby. This, plus Jing's reluctance to talk about Gon's mother on the recorder, makes it so the theory is not completely baseless. If this is indeed the case, then the process by which the fetus is created would be more akin to cloning than regular conception, which would mean that Gon would definitely share the same Nen type as Ging. But this is just speculation on my part, as we don't know the mechanics behind it. Another piece of evidence comes in the form of his personality. He seems like a very simple-minded, not stupid mind you, person, and tends to act on his emotions and instincts, much like Gon. Along with sometimes saying things before fully thinking them through, despite his amazing intelligence, as shown with him offering money to Muher, the Legolas-looking soldier guy, and the rest of Pearson's crew in order to have them accept him as the leader and then having to create a normal fun grandchild account in order for them to accept him. This happens at the beginning of the Dark Continent arc, and context is very much needed, so let's just say he screwed up a bit because of his impulsiveness. To go along with this, it's also been stated that he is more alike to Chairman Netero than any of the other Zodiacs, who was an enhancer as well, giving this point a bit more credence. However, it should be stated that some of these traits fit an emitter as well, so this point is actually the weakest, I'd say. The last piece of evidence that points to him being an enhancer is something he said during his encounter with a Legolas-looking fellow at the start of the Dark Continent arc, while he and Pearson were fighting with some riffraff. He deals with them by using the same hustle Leorio used to gift us with one of the most satisfying moments in Hunter x Hunter. He then goes on to explain that he can copy most strike type or punching abilities, depending on the translation. He also states that this is not a Hatsu, just a talent he has, probably due to his amazing proficiency with Nen. Whatever translation we choose to go with, what is certain is that any strike type or punching ability will almost certainly be an enhancement or emission type of ability. If we go with strike type, we can even include the transmutation, like for instance Gon's scissors. If we take that into account, his most logical place on the Hunter x Hunter Nen diagram would be between emission and transmutation, as he would need to be rather proficient in them to be able to copy an ability just by being struck by it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, would make him an enhancer. So, to summarize, I believe that Ging is an enhancer due to 1. The genetic factor present in determining one's Nen type, and Gon being one as well. 2. His personality, and 3. His proficiency at copying strike-type Hatsus. However, I think that if one were to just look at numbers 2 and 3, you could just as easily come up with the theory that he is an emitter, or even possibly a specialist. He does resemble Yusuke Urameshi, the protagonist of Togashi's previous manga, both in character and appearance. And as Yusuke is himself an emitter, it would make sense that Ging would be one too. On the other hand, I promise I'm almost done. It has been stated that a person can become a specialist, given the right circumstances later on in their life, and we've yet to see this phenomena in the series proper. What Kurapika does is different from a natural Nen-type shift, as it's related to his Kurta bloodline. So, Ging might have started off with another Nen category only to have transitioned sometime later on in his life. Or he may have been one from the very start. We really don't know. He does tend to have a strong impact on people and is very charismatic, which would put him in the specialist category. But, again, this is just baseless speculation at this point. And that's it. That was an info dump and a half. If you made it till the end, you're either a huge Hunter x Hunter fan, a huge Ging fan, you really like hearing me talk in my elegant and dignified Slavic accent, or you're one of my friends that I've sent this video to who are now watching out of pity. Whoever you may be, thank you for watching. I'd love to hear anything you have to say about this theory of mine. Feedback is always appreciated, and I'll see you in the next one.